Hey guys, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Paige.
And this is the Pretty Please Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Pretty Please Podcast. Today we have Zach, the nutritionist, on with us. We're excited to kind of pick his brain a little bit and learn a little bit about nutrition. So
our first male.
I know.
I'm the first guy.
You're the first guy. So
yeah.
you have a lot of shoes to fulfill.
Yeah.
You got to set the bar high.
Yeah.
That's tough. Okay. I'm going to try, but...
You can do it.
Yeah.
I got faith.
We'll see what happens. Just give me like a solid year before you bring another guy on.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so if someone outdoes me, I can at least suck it up.
That works. That
There
works.
you go.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you kind of got into nutrition, what made you interested, and things like that.
So I've always been a sports guy. I've always been heavily involved in playing sports since I was little and growing up. I was in the Navy for 4 years, always worked out. Like fitness was always kind of like my thing that saved me through life and the things that I've been through as a child and stuff. And as I've kind of grown and learned more things in the fitness world, I've dabbled in the bodybuilding, I've dabbled on the nutrition side and stuff like that. And I kind of got into a place where I started to see the biggest disconnect in fitness that people have is nutrition.
Right.
And that's where like my brother being who he is too, he's a ridiculously intelligent guy. He's somebody that I can talk to about a lot of different stuff, and being exposed to someone like his level of intellect made me a lot more curious about the scientific world. Like his degrees are in microbiology and stuff like that. And I started to get really addicted to learning about nutrition and the facts and the science behind nutrition. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of have, in today's day and age, there's two different worlds of thought when it comes to nutrition. There is the science-based people that are like, hey, if we have 100 years of studies and analysis over hundreds of thousands and millions of people that all say this is true, it's probably true. Mm-hmm. And then you have the other side that just says, nuh-uh. And I lean much more into the like, this is true side. And it kind of became this thing where I really enjoyed cutting through the bullshit for people and helping them learn what is fact from fiction to make their life a lot easier. Because we live in a day and age where people live their whole life constantly stressed out about, well, if I eat these Cheerios, I'm going to lower my lifespan because this one person on TikTok said it's fortified with iron and that's going to kill me.
Yeah.
And trying to help people learn how to have a more balanced life and to get to eat the foods they like and stuff like that just became, it kind of became like a healing thing for me. Like
right.
Helping people just get through all of that and get to a place of peace when it came to food and food noise. And Sam, she's done it with me since we started. We met when I first got out of the Navy. There's this whole thing that a lot of people in the military go through where they kind of get super depressed after they get out, because you go from having all of this structure where they tell you what to do, how to do it, what to wear, and all of these things to the day you get out, it's all gone.
They're like, okay,
dude,
go.
Yes, exactly. It's the worst transition ever. And so going from that, it put me into a really deep depression. And, I moved back to Oklahoma. I went from, having my own car, my own house, and living my own life out in California in the Navy to moving back in with my parents in my own child's bunk bed in her house because I had nowhere to go.
Right.
And the depression got really bad. And I had friends that owned a nutrition store, and I would just kind of hang out there every day because it was like, these people are uplifting. It was something different. It was something I needed. Mm-hmm. I never realized how much I needed it until one night I was on the way home. It was the middle of the night. It was like, there's a highway out there in Oklahoma called Highway 28A that's pitch black, super hilly. It's like deep drop-offs on both sides. I started to have this thought of like, what's the point? Like, why am I here anymore? Why do I care about living? And I thought about just letting go of the wheel. And I had this moment where I was like, oh shit, I just thought about taking my own life.
Yeah.
And so from that moment, I was like, okay, if I am going to live to see the other side of this or watch my kid grow up, I'm going to have to figure something out.
Because at that point, you already had Riker.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So my son, he's about to be 14. At the time, he was 4.5 years old. And I was just like, I can't do this to him. Mm-hmm. And I knew I had to change something. And so, I had a lot of friends from the military. I was in collision repair school. I was using my GI Bill for that. And the overall environment that I was around, I started to think about everything in terms of what I was listening to, the people I were listening to, the friends I was around. And I realized pretty much everything was a net negative. And that night I got home and I deleted all of them off of my social media, deleted all their phone numbers. I blocked everybody that I knew had even I went as far as was throughout all of my social media where I had pictures of events I was at or people I hung out with or anything. I deleted everything. Like that part of my life, I almost completely erased.
Wow.
To be able to make that clean cut and start trying to move in a different direction. And so I started to hang out at that nutrition club a lot, and just because they were nice and they were kind and uplifting.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? This is the environment that I want to be in. This is the environment that could save me.
Right.
And I know there's going to be other people like that out there. And so thankfully doing that, I ended up meeting Sam one day. And so like I was out there just helping him work for free because I was like, I just want to be here because
Yeah,
save me.
it was your safe place.
Yeah, and so I literally just worked for free. And one day Sam walked in, and obviously you've seen her, and I was just like, oh, there's no shot in hell. Like, there is no shot. And thankfully she, for some reason, thought the same thing. And so she was actually the one, I found out probably like 6 years into our relationship that she kind of manipulated the whole situation to get me to be with her.
What?
Yeah, it was wild. So we were laying in bed one night. And she was like, have I ever told you about that one food truck event that we all like kind of sat there and went to hang out at? I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I went to go help out work it and you just happened to be there. She's like, no, that's not how that worked. I was like, what are you talking about?
She planned it all.
Yeah, she planned and put together. Like she
Stop.
manipulated the whole situation to get me there to hang out with her.
Oh my
to
gosh,
get the whole thing started. And it was amazing. And you know, she was the person that I needed to really help save me. And it was crazy the way that the whole thing started to line up once I got rid of all of the negative influences in my life, and the way that it started going, it just turned into this really beautiful thing. And, you know, Sam didn't live the same life I did, but she had struggles too. And she loved working in a nutrition club for the same reason, because she got to help uplift people and take them out of these dark days.
Right.
And so she was like 3 months away from graduating with a bachelor's degree. And I was just working the store for free when the people that owned it walked up to us and they were like, hey, do you guys want to buy this place? And we were like, yes.
Sure.
Like, oh,
what are we doing?
I'm like, how am I going to go from being here for free to owning this? Like, what are you talking about? And so he actually allowed us to buy it from him. And it was like a payment plan type thing. We just made payments until we paid it off. Yeah. And I'm not naive to the fact that was lucky. We got lucky.
It's unheard of
Right.
anybody to do that.
Like those things don't happen. And we acknowledge like this is a very cool opportunity. And we're also very lucky that this opportunity is happening.
Right.
And so she dropped out of college with a few months left before her bachelor's degree.
Wow.
Her parents were pissed.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, I'm sure.
They were like, I'm sorry, you're going to do what? And so she did that, and we took over the store and we just started running it. And, you know, we've never been big into like being salesy people or like pushing ourselves on anything. We were just always really big on people over profits. Like if you put people first, profits will come.
Yep.
But taking care of people, you can create a community of people that'll be there for you for life. And we just really fell in love with helping people like really make change in their lives and be a positive influence for people and have people that when they walk in, they might be the shittiest day of their life, but when they walk out, they're just like, you know what? Like I can do this.
Yeah.
And that just kind of became our whole thing.
Now, was this back in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was before we came here in Tennessee. You know, so with this move to Tennessee, we were kind of in this phase of life when we were in Oklahoma where we kind of felt like the family that we had were kind of just putting us in a box. Like there was expectations of like who we should be and what we should be doing. And me and her were talking about, you know, what is the next step supposed to be for us? Where are we supposed to go from here? Because we were like, yeah, this is cool. We're doing really well. But like, what's next? What's out there?
Yeah.
And so we used to go to a church called Transformation Church. Michael Todd was the pastor, and there was a sermon he was doing. And what was the name of the sermon? It was talking about, the whole sermon was just talking about at some point in your life, you're going to be called out into the deep. And the deep is sometimes like you're being called to move away from family, move away from people you love and the things that you know in order to grow or to go and do the things that you're supposed to do. And Sam is Hispanic, as you know.
Yeah.
Her entire family is from Claremore, Oklahoma.
Yep.
They don't leave. They are born there, they die there, period.
Yep.
And she came to me one day and she was like, babe, I really think that we're being led to leave and to move somewhere. And I was like, okay, first of all, that's the craziest shit you've ever said to me.
Like, are you okay?
Yes. And so like, me being a white guy, I'm like, my whole family's nomads. Like my dad's in California. My brother is in Kansas. My sister's in Colorado. I have a sister in New Jersey, and then I'm in Oklahoma. So like we go everywhere. I'm like, it's normal for us. But it was her idea. And that's where I was like, okay, there is clearly something here if that's what she, of all people, is feeling, because nobody expected her to be the one to want to leave either.
Yeah.
And so we just started praying about what our next step should be. We started praying to, get the confirmations and the signs that we need of where we're supposed to go. And no joke, everywhere we looked, we just saw Tennessee over and over and over.
Really?
Everywhere. And we were just like, okay, like, I don't know if that's what's supposed to be there for us, but if it is what's supposed to be there for us, the doors are going to open up for it to happen.
Right.
And no joke, once me and her were like, okay, we're going to move to Tennessee. We're not 100% sure when, but we're going to do it. Within 2 months, everything lined up and we were gone.
How did you know it was going to be Hendersonville?
So that was the one that was weird, is we didn't really know the town, but we would look at the map of Tennessee and we're just kind of like, where are we supposed to be at here? Like, where are we going to get a feeling to? And everything, we just saw Tennessee, or we just saw Hendersonville. Like, Hendersonville is the only thing that stood out.
Really?
It was the only thing. Like, I don't know why. Like, you could look at a map and you could see all these town names, but sometimes you look at something, but like the smallest detail just sticks out.
Sticks out,
you don't know why. That's like what it was when we were looking at Hendersonville. And so I actually flew up here. It was 2021 when we moved here. It was Easter of 2021. I flew up here by myself because I was like, I'm going to come up, go to Hendersonville. If this is where we're supposed to be at, I'm going to feel it.
Right.
And I knew this is where, so as soon as I got here, I texted her and I was like, okay, yeah, this is the spot. Like, this is, I don't know why, but like, this feels like it's where we're supposed to be at for our next phase. And so, where our store is out there by Shep's, that store was open when I came here on Easter. I went and I looked at that space and like, I could just feel something about that space. I was like, this is where we're supposed to be. I sent her a picture of the storefront and I was like, this location is perfect. It's available. Like, I think this is where we're going to end up at. And she told me, she was like, well, if we don't move for 2 or 3 months, how do we know that place is still going to be there? And that's what I told her. I'm like, if this is the space we're supposed to be in, we'll be there.
Yeah.
We'll be there. And so we ended up making the move. So Braden we have our kid. He's about to be 5.
Which
And
is
so,
crazy.
Yeah, dude,
I feel like I've seen him grow up.
dude,
that is wild.
it's so depressing. It is so depressing. But he's about to be 5. When we came here, I think he was May, June, July. He was like 8 months old, 9 months old.
Yeah, he was like,
He was not even first birthday yet. Yeah. So like, he had his first birthday in Oklahoma. We had to fly back to have it. He was just a baby.
Wow.
We sold everything we owned except for our dresser, our bed, and our TV. And we just got in a U-Haul and we're like, all right, if we're supposed to go, we're going to go. And so we didn't have a location locked down or anything. We just locked down the apartment 2 weeks before that. We came all the way up here, got our apartment complex. That space was still there. So we went there and we applied for the space. There were 4 other people that applied for it. We were the last ones to apply for it. And we ended up getting the space. And when we went to ask him, like, okay, I played basketball with one of the realtors that handled it. And he told me, like, I don't know how you guys got that because you were the last one to apply, but they chose you guys.
Wow.
And I went and asked the lady, Amanda, about it. I was like, why were we the ones that got it? Because there were 3 people that did it before us.
Right.
So why was it us? Why was the 4th person to apply the one to get it? And she was like, honestly, like, just having the conversations with you guys, she's like, I just knew this space was supposed to be yours for some reason. And me and Sam were both just like,
Mind blown.
what is happening? It was the craziest experience of all time.
Wow.
And, looking back now after 4 years of doing this, we've gotten to grow in so many really cool ways. We've gotten to really find out who we want to be as adults and how we want to operate within this world. We've got to really find out how we want to parent our kid and what our standards are for our family. And, for me, I had a lot of my family passed away shortly before we moved up here.
Yeah.
So the 3 pillars of my family were my grandma, my mom, and my grandpa. Mm-hmm. Right before we came up here, my mom and my grandpa had both passed away. My grandma was on the downhill slope. She passed away about a year after we moved. And for me, I feel like, we were brought up here to help me heal too.
Yeah.
And it's being able to get away has really helped that part of me kind of heal up to where I can go back home where I was and not just...
And be okay.
Yeah. And so this last Christmas, we went back home to have Christmas with everybody. And it was the first time since we left that I went there. And I was like...
Yeah, because Sam would always go. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why
You
is it-
never went.
Like, I knew you obviously had the store, but I'm like,
Yeah.
there's something else behind this of why he's not going.
So at all costs, I don't even think I've really talked to her about it, but at all costs, I wanted to avoid going to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And so every time we would ask employees, if our employees were available to work, I would be just almost praying. I'm like, please God, tell me that you're not available to work. Please tell me you can so I don't have to go to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And it's not that I didn't want to be there with her family. It's not that I didn't want to be there with my wife.
You
and my
didn't want to
kid.
face.
I didn't want to have to face the pain that was there.
Yeah.
And so this last time I went back for Christmas and I felt good.
What
And that
made
was-
you say, okay, like, I'm going to go back?
that was kind of just it's kind of like a couple of things that really happened with that. And so one was the fact that being the first time since we left that I went back and I felt good about being there. It felt right. Mm-hmm. we had these really cool moments where Braden was playing with all of his cousins and was having just the absolute time of his life. And seeing him get to do that, we started to kind of realize on our way back to Tennessee that he was the one having to carry the sacrifice and the burden of us being here and not us.
Yeah.
So for me and her, it's easy. It's easier for me because I don't have family to go back to like she does.
Yeah.
It was easier for her than Braden because she understood why we were here.
Right.
But we started to realize that he was the one having to sacrifice. And once we realized that, we were just like, this isn't okay.
Isn't fair.
No.
Yeah, it's not our 4-year-old's place to make sacrifices for the family.
Right.
And so me and her just started talking about it, and we were like, if we are going to go back home, we're going to have to write our lease out, which was going to be the end of next August. And then some things kind of lined up with Shep next door, and he offered to buy us out of the storefront so that he could take over the space. So he bought out our lease and he bought us out. So we were able to take a nest egg and go home. And the last nail in the coffin, Braden was in school and they asked him about a month before we decided, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live? And it was Oklahoma.
Oh,
And we were just like,
yeah.
oh God, we have to.
that hurts. Yeah.
Dude. And, it was a hard decision to make because we've made a lot of, like you guys, like we've made a lot of really good connections and made a lot of really good relationships out here. But there wasn't a single thing out here that overrode what we saw with Braden playing.
No,
with
family's
his cousin.
number one.
Yeah. And so it was definitely a hard decision to make, very bittersweet.
Yeah,
but
for
we're very excited to get to go do it. And, I'm excited to get to go back there and live there again without the pain that I felt.
Yeah, for sure.
And get to just feel at peace.
Yeah.
Well, it's
That's
all
so
in
exciting.
timing too. Like
Everything happened.
it was never right until you went back and you were like, okay.
Yeah, it was hard. And like, it's hard to not get emotional thinking about it too.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. And I am more excited to go back than I thought I ever would be. And I really did think for a while too that we would probably never move back to Oklahoma. And now I can't ever see us not moving back to Oklahoma.
Really?
And so I'm like, it's exciting. And I'm excited for him to get to be with his family too.
Yeah.
Like he's never got to actually, as like a conscious kid, he's never really got to experience his family like that.
Yeah.
And so I have a feeling every day we're going to wake up and it's going to be, can I go to grandma's house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
We're just like, oh my God, come get this kid.
Yeah.
And have a built-in
Well,
babysitter.
I was gonna say that will be super nice. Y'all can date night. And actually.
Dude, without having to pay $20 an hour for a babysitter.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll get to take vacation. We haven't had a vacation in 4 years either since before we opened the store.
Yeah.
So the first order of priority when we go back is getting on a damn boat and going on a cruise.
There you go. Don't do Carnival.
Okay, so have you seen the MSC America? It's like a new cruise line. Holy crap, dude. It looks incredible.
nice.
Yeah, you got to look at it.
Do it.
Yeah. And so I was like, first order of business, we have to go on vacation.
There you go.
We need,
Yes.
even if it's just like a 3-day cruise, we just need to get
Just
the hell out.
something
Get
to
out.
get away.
Yeah. Yeah, just get those few days to kind of like
Yeah.
Yes.
decompress and step into this new phase of life.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be a big transition.
Yeah.
So
for
new
sure.
phase of life, you're not having another storefront.
No.
So tell us what that, if you even know, what does that look like?
Yeah. So not having another storefront, it's going to be really weird because this is kind of, especially since me and Sam have been together, that's the only thing we've known for work. We've only ever owned a storefront. And you're talking about 10 hours a day, 6 days a week.
It's
Like,
exhausting.
it's unbelievable how much time we've put into it and how much time that we've kind of lost, not realizing all the time we've put into it. And, the things we couldn't do, like go on vacation or just, go just do whatever.
Yeah.
We were kind of getting really close to that point where, especially with Braden starting school, that I want to be able to be there to take him to school on his first day of school as a kindergartner, as a first grader, go watch his T-ball game.
Yeah.
I don't want to
those
have to
things.
find an
Don't
employee
wanna
for these
miss out
things.
on
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
And so, I feel like all of the time that we spent at this store too has also really helped me in terms of like nutrition work, because I've spent so much time studying nutrition and things like that it feels like a lot of this was kind of just preparation for the next phase of life we were heading towards that we didn't know about yet. And so for Sam, we have a lot of customers who still really love all of our stuff, and so she's going to be doing like a subscription-based service for those people. So she's going to kind of turn it into her own little gig, and then we're going to turn mine into mostly virtual online nutrition coaching.
Okay.
I'm sure when we get back to Oklahoma, we have a lot of people we know there. I'm sure I'll have like some in-person clients,
Right.
Yeah.
but mainly just learning how to do the whole social media game.
Yeah. That's a full-time job in itself.
is.
So I think that will keep you very busy.
Oh yeah,
For
yeah. Like Paige. I watched your TikTok go from like 800 followers.
I remember I walked into their store one day. I was like, you will not believe what happened last night. I have 1,000 followers on TikTok. And then what was like 2 months later, how much you have now? 50,000. They're like, what?
It's crazy. Because wasn't like the whole launch pad on yours too? You had that lady that bought your cookies and reviewed it.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy to think how it's like those little moments. And you don't even
change
know.
your life.
Yeah. And
You
so I
all
think-
saw me go from just me to, I guess I still am just me, but like
Yeah.
a
But
whole
you've
different
turned into
side.
like almost like a social media superstar.
No, we're not
she
going
is.
that
You're a
far.
superstar.
I mean, she's completely turned my business around
Yeah.
for the best. So,
like it's
she
crazy.
is.
I think, and that's so cool. You know, for a large part of my life, ever since I did the whole like life purge of the first half of my life and stepped into the next one, I've been so anti wanting to be on social media.
You
One,
have,
dude.
Even when I started, you're
Yeah.
like, I'm not doing that. I'm like,
Yeah.
Zach.
Like
Really?
it's so I've always kind of struggled with. There's so much bullshit on social media, and
is.
it can be such a powerful, awesome tool for helping people, but it's also such a destructive and violent tool
Yeah.
for so many people too.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ever able to kind of reconcile those two sides of my brain to justify feeling okay being on social media, because I understand that I could make an impact doing nice things on social media.
For sure.
But I also know that if I get on social media and the first thing I see is like kids getting beaten or like some wild shit that you see on social media these days, I'm like, I don't know how to just shut those things off, because when I see injustices like that, I can't just let that thing go and just be like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. Like that disturbs me.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the other thing is kind of getting older and maturing too has also helped me kind of transition to where I feel better about using social media and using like the impactful, because I can only control what I can control. you
Right.
know? And so especially like seeing that stuff with Paige where it's like, you know, you see the trickle down effect of what can happen from something like social media like that, where somebody randomly buys her cookies, gives her a review, her followers skyrocket, and then your business is struggling, and then she goes to help you and she saves your business and just takes it even further. Like the impact that can have if you're willing to step into that world and use it is really cool.
It is.
And I'm really excited about getting on it more, and especially like once you don't have a storefront, I could be a lot more with
Present
videos.
with
yeah.
it,
Well, I think you have to be open-minded. It's like the last time I went into the store, you and I had a good hour-long conversation just talking social media, and you have the same mindset that I do, and you're more like Dustin in the fact of how do you not snap back at some of the stupid ass comments, and it's like you've got to let them
You
go.
just have to let them go.
Just let-
It's hard.
It's hard, but
It
you
is
got to
very
let them
hard,
go.
But you just have to.
And people are like, how do you not take that to heart? I'm like, because they're behind a screen.
Yeah.
If they want to come say it to my face, come on, we'll have that conversation.
But they won't.
But they won't.
Yeah.
Well, it's so like a good example of that for me was probably like a year ago. There was this really, really dumb video I saw on TikTok where a girl blanched apples. Do you know what blanching an apple is?
No.
So you're basically just boiling the apple, and like it removes like the natural wax, and,
Okay,
the top layer
yeah.
of the skin, all this stuff. She blanched an apple, but claimed that she was like removing all of the chemicals and the toxins that are going to kill us all. And I bit into it and commented, and I was like, well, this is the dumbest shit I'm going to see today. That comment got like 40,000 likes. And so she stitched my comment, and she said, oh yeah, is it dumb? Is it dumb like how you have a joint account with your wife who cheated, huh? And I was like, what?
what?
I was like, what are you doing, dude? So she just like did this whole like 2-minute video of personal attacks, and I'm like, that's great.
But that's how they get their views.
Yeah.
Right, right. And that's what. So I think it was after that video. I showed that to Sam, and Sam was just like, "That's the wildest thing I've ever." Like, someone just took that and ran. And that video that she made, that stitched it, had another 200 comments of people like, "Oh yeah, I was definitely her. Yeah, it was definitely him." Or like, "She looks like a slut." And I'm like, "You people need help.
Yeah.
Like, serious help, dude. This is wild."
But they take anything they can that they
they'll
think
run with it.
Yeah.
go viral.
Right.
And they
I think it was shortly after that when I learned that on TikTok as well, having people, whether it's negative or positive, interact, comment, post, or
Yep.
watch it at all is what they do it for, because it gets paid. And I started to realize there's a lot of really, really intelligent people that know what they're saying is factually incorrect, and they're putting it on there to get
that people
the
will-
reaction out of people and get
Yeah.
paid. And so from that day on, I was like, everything I see where I'm like, nope, that's stupid, get rid of it.
Well,
Like, I'm
that's
not
why,
watching that.
like, people to me, they're like, you could get so many more followers if you feed into this drama or you talk bad about your customer. First off, I have nothing bad to talk about my customers
Yeah.
for. But second off, I don't want that. Like,
No.
if you're just following me to get drama, see ya, bye.
Wrong place.
Well, and I think that that's why, yes, there's a bunch of people out there that have all these followers, but your followers are
they're loyal. If I ever go missing, go on my TikTok and tell them I'm missing. I will be found.
She will. It's crazy. I mean, they are loyal.
And I appreciate them for that.
Yes, but I think that goes to show that they can relate to you because you are real. And
I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
No.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I'm not. Who you see? Somebody asked Alicia. I don't know who. She didn't say names, but they were like, "Is Paige the same person when she worked with us? Is Paige the same person as you see online?" And Alicia was like, 100%.
Yeah.
It's like a literal carbon
And I'm like,
copy.
the fact that people even have to ask that is sad.
I am the same. I mean, even Zach, like whenever. So Zach is the individual who's helps me lose my weight, or one of the individuals. There was a few in this game, but
Takes a village.
I feel like you have seen me. I'm not going to say change, but be a better human of myself.
Yeah, you've evolved. It's like what we were talking about. It's like a caterpillar to a butterfly. People come to the butterfly and they're like, "You've changed." And like that's the whole point of life is you're supposed to change. You're supposed to grow.
Yeah.
And it's weird how people will do that. And they're just like, "Well, you're not the same person you were when I first met you 34 years ago."
I'm not.
Like I would hope I'm not the same
Correct.
person I was as a toddler. Susan.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
And it's like we were talking about that, because me and Sam saw you when you were working at HR, when you were struggling with weight. What was it? Omnicorp or whatever. What was the name of the place?
Osram.
Osram.
They're not even.
Yeah, not even a thing anymore. They got bought out. So I remember seeing like you were working super long days and then you were baking.
I mean, there was times I'd get called at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Like you were in a horrible place, but you were still the same person then that you are now. And I've seen people that have done really well in life that have completely changed who they were as they've grown and learned and made more money. And I think that's where one of my favorite sayings of all time is money doesn't change who you are, it amplifies who you already were. And so the more money you get, if you're a bad person, you're probably going to be a worse person, or you'll be more willing to be that bad person. If you're a good person, you're still going to be a good person.
Yeah.
And like you're a perfect example of that. Like I've seen nothing different from you. You've turned into, in at least our eyes, like a superstar on social media.
You're sweet.
And you are not at all even an ounce different than you were.
No.
You're just more successful, but you're the same
grown
page.
and learned.
Yeah.
But I think with my small, it's still a very small platform. Like,
Yeah.
yes, it seems like a lot, but it's still a very small platform when you look at other
Yeah, when
individuals.
he gets those 3 million ones.
Yeah.
But I take mine and, like you said, I want to help other people. And I feel like individuals come to me and they ask me baking questions or shirt questions, or I say, this is what I did. Let me give you to Zach to help you. Like, you see what he can do for you. Because we're not going to be the same.
Yeah.
And you see that in nutrition. How I worked probably isn't going to be how most people work, because I said, hey, give me everything that you got. And then 3 weeks later, I was like, don't talk to me. I got this.
Yeah. That's it. So I think I've had like 3 of you guys total that were clients like that, where I gave you the tools and the things that you needed and you just did the damn thing. And that's what I remember telling you is at some point there's a switch that'll flip and you'll get tired of the same shit every day and you'll just do the damn thing. And you have some people that they need that constant accountability and stuff like that. And that's okay too. But it was really cool seeing like you just literally just took it and ran.
Well, I think there was a point in time where I told you, like, yeah, I'm ready, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything with it. And then I came back and I was like, hey, I'm ready. He was like, are you sure? I said, yes, I am ready. And he's like, okay, this is what we're doing. And I did, and he kept checking in, and he goes, are you going to text me back? I'm like, no, I'm not texting you back. I'm tired of texting you. Like, and I didn't, but I would still show up at the shop, in the nutrition shop every day, get my shake. And I didn't have to go get my shake, but I love to go get my shake. Just like you said, like, that was your safe space.
Yeah.
That was my safe space.
Yeah. It's really cool being able to create that for people too. And I think that's the one thing that I'm going to have to figure out how to kind of fit or how to create that I can't do doing online virtual stuff. Like I can't make the same physical safe space for people to go to. And so like, as I get like superstar status on social media, like maybe they can like some kind of like a group for people where they can all kind of work together and talk and stuff too. But a lot of times like that's all people really need is everybody is capable of doing it.
Yeah.
But most people, like we're social creatures. That's just how it is. Most people need someone there almost holding their hand for them, kind of helping guide them through the process.
Yep.
And that there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of people have too much pride to acknowledge that too.
Yeah.
So, like, if you look at professional bodybuilders, like, you look at dudes doing Mr. Olympia and you'd be like, oh, dude, they don't need help at all. They've got this thing on lock. They have coaches.
They have coaches.
nutritionists.
Yeah.
They
They're
have
helping
doctors
them.
and train. Like, they have a whole support system helping push them to that level. And so it's important to have that. And, you know, I have one client right now who is literally you all over again. And it's crazy to see. So
Do you
like,
hate it or do you love it?
I love it. I think it's awesome because
Okay.
my goal is not for you to pay me forever either. My goal is for you to learn how to utilize these tools and help change your life. And then, you know, especially as these people start to have kids and things like that, you're teaching your kids how to have healthy relationships with food too. And so I love it because it makes my job easier too. And it's like seeing people win and succeed like that is one of my favorite things in the world. Like, it is awesome. Like, the world needs more people that want to see other people win, because there's enough for all of us to win, but people treat it like
Absolutely.
there's not.
Yeah.
And I have other clients that come and go where they're just like not doing a single thing that I tell them to do. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm going to be here to help
When
you.
you're ready.
Right. I'm not going anywhere. And I think it's important too that people have to be able to not feel judged for that too. Like, a lot of people are afraid to quit something because they're like, well, you know, I started it. I don't want to be embarrassed by quitting it or not being able to do it. And it's like, that's a part of being a human. It's okay. Like, you're not going to knock it out of the park your first try. And if you have to quit and start over, quit and start over. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're the only person you have to answer this question to. So
For sure.
and it's really cool to see that. And I'm excited to be able to create a community of people like that where they can just be uplifting and be like almost the antithesis of what social media is these days.
Well, I think it's good too. Like, I know, like, obviously I don't need you day in and day out anymore, but it's good to know if I have a question or if I need something or I'm like, Zach, what would you do? Like, I can still come back to you.
Yeah. I'm always a text or a call away. Might take me a minute to respond sometimes if I'm slammed, but I will respond to you.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
And that's it's really cool too. Most nutritionists, dietitians, and things like that these days too, you go to see them once a month and that's it.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's why my favorite thing is you have almost unfettered access. Like, I do have a life too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So you can text me or call me most of the time throughout the day, and I will help you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be there to answer your questions because, you know, a lot of times if we sit down and have a conversation about what you need, there's going to be things you don't think of until 2 or 3 days later, and then you're like, well, shit, I can't talk to him about it until next month now.
Yeah.
Versus
You
just being
done
able to be like,
forgot
hey,
by
real
then.
quick. Yeah. And so having that kind of access is really, really invaluable too. And it's cool. I'm excited for this next phase.
Well, I think it's good too is, you know, your clientele. Like, there was a point in time where I was weighing every day, and both you and Sam were like, stop doing that. Like, you were hurting yourself by doing that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, once a week. And they were like, no, stop doing that. And then Sam was like, just throw your scale away. Just throw it away. Because it's not about your scale.
No.
It's about how you're feeling.
Yep.
Do your before and after pictures. And there was a point in time where I plateaued for, gosh, it was probably 2 months, but I was still losing inches.
But your weight wasn't changing.
But my weight wasn't changing.
And it's really hard too. I try to explain that because most of my clients are women. Like, it's just men for some reason refuse to help to reach out for help because they're like, oh, I got this. I'm like, all right, well, I'll be here.
I'm here when you need me.
Let me know how it goes. So most of them being women, I try to tell them the same thing. I'm like, you should not be weighing every day. Your day-to-day weight is so wildly inconsistent, especially for women and especially for younger women with your menstrual cycles, your levels of water retention, and so many different things going on in your body.
Yeah.
Day-to-day weight's not reliable. Week-to-week weight's not even really reliable. And if you want to weigh in, you have to be willing to weigh in, you know, the same day, the same time every morning before you have anything, and do it the same time every week. And then over the course of 2 or 3 months, you can kind of see the trend lines to see if you're going in the right direction. But for a lot of women, I'm like, just take before and after photos.
Yeah.
And you will start seeing the difference. You have to trust the process though, because your body's going to play tricks on you. You guys have so many more things you go through than us. Like for us guys, like, it's easy. Like, I can be on track for 2 weeks and then everything starts leading out. It's like, okay, cool. But it's not like that for women.
No.
And acknowledging that reality too, and getting past this weird kind of, like, a lot of women, especially like your guys' age, you were raised in the era of the healthy, beautiful woman is an hourglass.
Yeah.
Which is absolute horseshit. Like, what's healthy on me will not look healthy on you.
Yeah.
What's healthy on you will not look healthy on
Yeah.
you. And so there's a lot of women I have, like, Sam even struggled with that. She still doesn't know where the scale in our house is. Like,
You hit it from
I
her?
hit that motherfucker like ages ago.
That is hilarious.
You're gonna find it in the move and be like, what the
Yeah,
heck?
I have it stashed away for the move too.
Oh my god.
So I hid that thing forever ago because she fell into the same trap too.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter. She would legitimately wake up in the morning and lift her shirt up and be like, "Oh, babe, look at my abs." And I'm like, "Damn it, I should have had that pizza last night, man." But then she would go step on the scale and then she's like, "Oh, everything goes to shit," and she just feels bad about
And you're
herself.
like, you
She
have
feels-
abs. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and it's not her fault. It's not something that's super easy to get over. It's just the way that a lot of women were kind of conditioned when you were growing up to how you should look, and the scale should reflect what people think you should look like.
Well, and I think too, our age and even older, like we were taught you don't get up from the dinner table until your food is done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is a huge issue now because that is, I'm not going to say that's the only reason why people are overweight, but like that's what our
contributing.
brain was
Yeah.
too. So it's like, okay, if we go out to dinner, they give you Mexican, for example, they give you
Chips.
like 4 freaking platefuls of stuff.
Yeah.
That's funny you say that. I saw something the other day. It was like some girl was like, if you put it into perspective, I eat 12 tortillas before my dinner even comes, and I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
that's so me.
Yeah. 12 fried tortillas.
Yes.
Yeah, it's bad.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But that was how we were, and that's probably part of the reason a lot of American people are overweight.
Yeah. So one of the things that I kind of see all the time, especially in the nutrition field, is I'll see people that will go over to Italy, they'll go over to Rome or some of these countries, and they'll eat the same kind of food they eat here, but they'll lose weight, and then they'll come back and they'll blame it on America's piss poor food system. And I'm like, okay, so like, how was your trip? And they're like, oh, it was so cool. You know, we went out, we'd go eat, then we'd walk 12 miles to this next store. And I'm like, hold on, back up. You what? To the next store?
Yeah.
Oh, you walked 12 miles. Okay, so what you're saying is you weren't sitting in a desk for 10 hours that day and then you went home and watched Netflix all night and binged on a large pizza. So like serving sizes in other countries are smaller because people in America are gluttonous and companies are going to take advantage of that. So we have very large portion sizes compared to the rest of the world, but we also have the safest food system in the world as voted on by the rest of the world.
Really?
And so there's this
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so there's this whole conversation that America's food system is horrible, but it's not. People just don't understand the food system. So I'm sure you've seen these things where people are like, oh, well, America's food pyramid is broken because, you know, at 72% of America is obese, people have all these diseases and issues. Ask that person, have you ever once in your life followed the food pyramid? Ever? And the answer is always no. They have never followed the food pyramid a day in their life, but they're going to tell you it's broken. And so the food pyramid that we have in the US was not made by the US. It was a joint effort by like a conglomeration of 60 different countries trying to come up with the healthiest food system that included meats and whole grains and dairies and things that we knew we needed. And so it's crazy because people are like, well, scientists in America are just trying to kill us because of the food pyramid. I'm like, they're not even the ones that came up with the food pyramid. Like, what are you talking about? And so these things, like this kind of information spreads like wildfire. And so this is what makes me really passionate when it comes to nutrition is one of the top reasons for mental health issues in America right now are food disorders. And
I believe that
stems from bullshit information flying around about like I've seen mothers that have these whole breakdowns because I'm buying my kid chicken nuggets from the grocery store and I know I'm killing them slowly and it's all my fault, but I can't afford anything else. And that drives the mother to the edge. You think that you're slowly killing your own child and you genuinely believe that? What is the most likely outcome you're going to have? You're probably going to end up killing yourself. And that's something that we're starting to see happen in America right now is all of these people have this massive distrust of the entire system, the entire food system, the entire medicine system of everything. And people's mental health is paying a massive price for it because these grifters on social media are just trying to sell you for money. So if you see somebody on social media that's like, hey, I know your problem and why you can't lose weight. Also, I have the solution to this problem that I told you have. Like that's what's happening and people believe it. So I'm like, if you have somebody telling you your issue and then selling you the solution to your issue at the end of the video, they're lying to you.
Yeah.
It is not what is happening. Like I'm a damn nutritionist and my child eats chicken nuggets twice a day, every day for the last 3 years. Like he's gonna be fine. Like these damn kids are like goats, dude. They could eat a freaking license plate and they will be okay.
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
It's unbelievable. And so like I have these same conversations with people that are like, well, my kid is having all these health issues because of all this food. I'm like, or your kid has some other health issue going on because you grew up eating that same food and you're totally fine.
Yeah.
Most of us that grew up on this food have no problems. We have no issues. It's not that's the issue. It's the lack of movement. It's the eating too much damn food and not getting enough exercise in, not getting enough sleep.
Too, whenever I started, I was like, okay, so chicken, rice, and you're like, no. You can eat whatever. It's all in moderation and what you're eating, and that's why I'm giving you, these are your macros that you need to focus on. And all the time, even yesterday, someone was like, so what are your carbs? I'm like, I don't count carbs. What are your sugars? I don't count sugars. And they're like, how? I'm like, because that's what Zach told me to do, and it worked.
Yes. There's this really cool study. I can't remember which college it was at. It was at one of the Ivy Leagues, like Princeton or Harvard, one of those. But they did this study where there were a group of doctors that did this diet that was primarily just straight up really sugary, like, like Little Debbie, like Star Crunches and all that stuff.
That's what I put in my cookies.
Yeah. And so, there are these machines that we have in medicine that can get really accurate BMRs for people that are more accurate than anything else. And they figured out what these scientists calorie maintenance and calorie deficit levels would be. So most of them, it was like a calorie deficit for them would be 1,900 calories. What they did was, outside of having a protein shake that was almost just pure protein, just to make sure they got protein in, because they're not trying to kill themselves, they would have nothing but really sugary Little Debbies for food. So it was literally their breakfast, lunch, and dinner were honey buns, Star Crunches, oatmeal cream pies, all of these things. And they would get about 120 grams of protein from just protein shakes. And it was about 1,500 calories total of their entire diet was just Little Debbies.
Wow.
The expectation was, okay, we know too much sugar is bad for the human body.
Right.
So they're likely going to have like bad H1AC. They're going to have really bad heart issues. They're going to have like all these different deteriorations happening. It was the total opposite. After they did this for 2 months, every single one of them lost weight. Every single one of them had improved blood pressure levels, improved cardiac levels, improved H1AC, like all of these different markers for health improved because they were at a maintenance or a deficit and kept their same daily movement. And so if people would just calm the hell down, just reduce the amount of food you're eating. Ideally, 70% of your diet would still come from whole foods. But if you're eating a heavy processed diet, but you're still maintaining your macros, your calories and your protein and your fiber, and you're moving, you will more than likely be okay. And that's the whole point of why I love doing this, is just getting people to calm the hell down and realize it's not as bad as you think it is.
Well, and I think too, people are like I love Diet Coke and I love my Dr. Pepper. That's going to give you cancer. Everything says it's going to give me cancer nowadays. Like, what can I eat? A leaf off the tree? Will that give me cancer?
Yes. So that's the funny part too, is literally anything that you consume can give you cancer. That comes primarily from overconsumption. Too much of anything is a bad thing. So like vitamin A, for example, we need vitamin A for our eyesight. It's good for our eyesight. If we don't get enough vitamin A, you'll eventually go blind. If you get too much vitamin A, you will eventually go blind. And so people don't realize that everything in moderation is totally fine for you. You're not going to die. The food colorings and all of these things will not kill you. You'll be okay. Yeah. And like diet soda, like Sprite Zero is my favorite one, just because I try not to have caffeine right before bed. Dr. Pepper Zero is my other favorite one.
I love Dr.
But people attack aspartame because they're like, well, I saw this study. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Did you see the study, or did you see a video of someone that saw the study? Because to me, it sounds like you didn't see the study. And so what it was, the equivalent of, is they did this test in rats. It wasn't in humans. And while we do studies in animals because it's like an indicator of how it could impact humans, it doesn't always translate to humans.
Right.
So they did these studies on it with aspartame to see what happened to the rats. And the rats got cancer. They were getting cancer after they were having like 100 times the amount that we could consume in a day without dying. And so the equivalent would be, those, like 20-ounce bottles of soda?
Yeah.
You would have to consume almost 25 of those to have any negative health effect, but you'd have to do 25 of those every day for 10 years before you would have a negative health effect.
Yeah.
And so like aspartame breaks down, though it's a really difficult word to say, but it's phenylalanine. It's an essential amino acid that you need in your diet, and that's what aspartame breaks down to in your body. And so like, people do this very surface level, like, well, I did my own research. I'm like, no, you didn't. You didn't know research. You read research maybe, but you didn't understand it at all.
Yeah.
And people will realize these things are totally safe. And it gets really frustrating.
Yeah.
It gets really frustrating because people are so convinced that big food is trying to kill them. And it's tiring, dude.
Yeah.
It's
trying to
tiring.
explain it.
Yeah. But I love helping give people that piece to be like, it is okay to consume it. Because most of these people that when I have the real conversation with them and I show them the science and actually break down the reality of it with them, most of them are like, oh my God, like this took away so much anxiety from my life, and they can just move on and figure out how to get healthier without becoming a psychopath. And then you have the other ones that they'll die on that hill that it's going to kill them. And they'll just spend the rest of their life being an anxious ball of not wanting to eat or touch anything because they're convinced it's going to kill them. So like, don't go to California because everything in California says, hey, if you're in the vicinity of this building, you might get cancer. Like it's everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really disheartening to see it too.
Yeah.
And,
I'm sure.
yeah.
Well, I think too, like at the end of the day, people need to realize, and I try to tell them this, like it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change.
Yep.
That's why I hate using the word diet. People are always like, what diet are you on? I'm not on a diet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess what? When I went on my cruise, I don't know how many Red Bulls I consumed because I had Red Bull vodka. But, like, I don't do that every day.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's if people realize you could still enjoy the things you want to enjoy, just don't do it every day. Like their quality of life would be so much better. Dude.
Yeah.
It would be so much better. Like moderation is king for everything. And it's cool like seeing somebody actually live that out too. And the whole diet thing, like I try to explain to a lot of my clients, if you're on a diet, what's going to happen when your mom dies? You're going to get stressed out. You're going to stop thinking about what you're eating and you're going to resort back to how you used to eat. And so if you make a lifestyle change though, that's just the way you eat, then what's going to happen when stressful moments in life happen, you're going to fall back into your safety net of that's just your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you're going to stay being able to be more optimally healthy the rest of your life.
Well, and I think too, when you're doing a lifestyle change and not a diet, say something tragic does happen and you fall off of your natural lifestyle change for a week and you go eat Taco Bell for an entire week because you're upset or depressed or whatever, and then you snap out of it and you go back to that lifestyle change. You're like, okay, this was a lot easier. Like that was okay. Like you give yourself grace. Like that was okay and I'm moving past it, but I'm going back to eating the proper things that I should eat.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like the big thing. And I always tell people too, my goal is not to live to be 120. I'm 33. I'm about to be 33. I don't know how old I am, Sam. So I'm about to be 33 and I'm already where like, I've had enough of this world, homie. Like, I don't want to live to be 120.
No.
If I could have hot Cheetos every weekend and live to be 90, I'm happy. If I had to sacrifice hot Cheetos for the rest of my life to live to 120, I'm good. I don't want to do that. Like the goal is when I'm in my mid 70s or mid 80s, I want to be able to get on the ground and play with my grandchildren or great grandchildren.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And as long as I can move and do that, I've lived a good life. And if I'm 120 and eating like a health nut and stressed out and anxious about it, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
No.
Like in no world is that worth it to me. I want a large pizza with pepperoni and extra cheese from Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Worst pizza place ever, but it's good pizza. It's good pizza. I like pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And it's cool getting to help people realize that stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's people act like, what do they want to live forever? No, you don't.
No. Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about the nutrition side. Tell us a little bit about the fitness side, like what you recommend, things like that. And for me, I tell people all the time, when I first started, I was doing 2-a-days, but that is not sustainable.
No.
And now, like, it's
I thought
like
you were gonna kill yourself.
it was
Dude,
it was bad. I would wake up and go to the gym at 4 a.m. and then I would go to work and then I'd stop at the nutrition shop, get my pre-workout, and then I'd go back to the gym to do a HIIT class. And then after that, sometimes I'd work out again. It was stupid.
You were like the definition of sacrificing everything to go work out.
It was dumb.
Yeah, it was
and it's
crazy.
not sustainable. And
Your body.
now people are like, so what do you do? I'm like, well, I work a lot.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I'm making sure that I'm getting 10,000 steps a day. I'm still moving my body, things like that. So, like, how do you suggest somebody, don't do what I did?
Yeah. That's a hard no.
Don't do what I did.
hard no.
I won't even go that far. The big thing is, the analogy I try to use is, like, say you guys are riding in a car together and you're the one driving and you're the backseat person and, you know, you're giving her directions on where to go. But most of the time you're kind of distracted, like, oh my God, you're going to slow down? Oh my God, speed up. Like giving all these directions. So working out and trying to lose weight. So like the car is you trying to lose weight. The driver are the calories. And then the backseat driver is working out, where it can be helpful, kind of a pain in the ass sometimes. Most of the time you're just like, bro, shut the hell up. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need your help.
Yeah.
It's not the most important thing. It's not as important as people think it is, and it doesn't make the impact that people think it does in terms of weight loss.
Right.
In terms of building muscle, longevity, overall health, it is pretty important. But if you're trying to lose weight, movement, steps is the only thing that matters. Get proper sleep, drink enough water, make sure you move your ass and walk. You'll be fine. You don't have to go do these hour-and-a-half workouts. You don't have to go do back-to-back boot camp workouts. All of these things can help. They're not necessary. And so, I try to tell a lot of my clients starting off, like, if you go to the gym 3 times a week, that's a win.
Yeah.
If you go 2 times a week, that's a win. Try to at least go 2 times a week just so you get more overall movement in your life than you would if you weren't going. And if you can't do it, go walk a couple of miles every day.
Yeah.
Walk 2 miles. That'll do more for you than you could possibly imagine if you would just every day walk 2 miles. And so, obviously, as you get to the levels of weight loss that you're wanting to get to, and you're starting to be like, okay, I want to start shaping my body now, that's where the gym becomes vastly more important. But in terms of just weight loss, just get off your ass.
there.
Just get off. That's it.
Well, even if, you want to watch TV, that's fine.
Yeah.
Get a walking pad, walk on it,
So Sam
and
did.
watch your TV.
Yeah, so exactly what Sam did. She got a walking pad off of TikTok, and she had that thing for like 6 months, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna burn that thing out, bro.
Hey, they're amazing.
Yeah, she loves
Yeah.
it, dude. She swears by it. And it's awesome because you're able to kind of still be in your own comfort zone and watching the stuff that you like and just relaxing, but you're moving and getting your movement.
Well, it's like whenever I worked from home, I got one of those stand-up desks that could go up or down, and I got a walking pad. So when I was working, my mind's not off thinking about me walking.
Yeah.
It's focusing on whatever my email is, or if I'm in a meeting or whatever.
So you
That's
don't
the same
even
thing.
think about
So you're
it.
not even thinking about you walking, and then here I am. Oh, I'm 5 miles in. Dang, I didn't even realize it.
Yeah. That's the same thing I do. So like my 2 favorite forms of cardio outside of playing sports are doing sprints on the treadmill and Stairmaster.
You're a psychopath.
I will always have my phone up there watching TikTok while I do it because I do not want to acknowledge the fact that what I'm doing sucks.
Yeah.
And it helps me like detach.
Do you know they made a clicker now you can put on
I
your
saw
finger
that, dude. I haven't
and
yet.
click your TikToks through?
I only get the ad for that when I'm on the treadmill. It's the only time,
course.
dude. I'm like, this is suspicious, but okay. I'm about to buy it if you keep doing this. Like it looks. Have you tried it out?
I haven't tried it. No, I
Dude,
haven't bought one.
It looks pretty cool. I'm like, I might have to have that so I can be in the middle of doing a sprint. Like,
But if you're one who's thinking about like, oh, I can't swipe, buy a clicker.
Yeah.
And it'll click through it for you.
I'll literally be running on the treadmill at like 12 miles an hour and be like, oh, trying to like swipe it without falling.
You see Zach go boom, right into the wall.
Dude, it's wild. And it's funny because like when I'm doing it, I'm like, people are probably looking at me like, what is this dumbass doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, wait a second. And I'm like, no, I have to go to a good video. I need something.
Well, and I think too, like there are days where you do not want to get up out of bed. You get up and go walk. I promise you will feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. Just in terms of like what it does for your mental health. Like it's amazing what it'll do for your overall mental health. Like you look at like when I was in the darkest parts of my life, a lot of it was survived by working out and lifting weights. I could have gotten those same kind of, I don't even know what you call it, but like I would get those same mental health benefits from just walking. Like it doesn't have to be crazy intense. Just move.
Just
Like,
move
just
your body.
move. And like it helps so much. Like you're feeling anxious, go outside and walk and get some sunlight and it will help you. If you're feeling down or sad, go outside and walk and it will help you. It won't cure the root of the problem, but it'll help.
It'll help.
Yeah.
And it'll help kind of clear your mind a little bit. So when you come back, you're like, okay, I'm ready to hit this head.
You'll feel better.
Yeah.
Like life has a funny way of not feeling as hard and heavy when you go do things like that. And it's, one of my favorite things about it is if you're doing something that kind of pushes you that you're not really like wanting to do, you're also helping yourself build that resilience to be able to handle harder things in life.
Yeah.
for sure.
And it's one of my favorite things. Like I do cold showers intermittently when I feel like I'm struggling, and that'll help me be like, okay, that shit sucked. This is not a problem.
Yeah.
Like if I can stand in a cold ass shower for 5 minutes, nobody can touch me. Like let's fight.
Oh, I could not do
Terrible.
that.
I do not do cold well.
So in all fairness, when I do it, I usually have like some pretty intense music on too. So like
I could see you do.
I had I had one day. It's funny the things that you'll do in private that you think nobody will ever know about. So I had one day I was doing the cold shower and I was not feeling it in the slightest. I legitimately put on Viking music and just started pounding my chest. And so after I got done with the shower, like you could see through the tattoo on
Through
my
your
chest, like a
red.
giant red spot. And I was like, God, you probably looked so dumb in there. But it worked.
But it worked.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah, so like be willing to look stupid sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And yeah, it was. I think that was like one of my favorite cold showers of all time because I know how dumb it looked.
That's
like God's
great.
probably sitting up there like,
What are you doing?
what are you doing? Stop that. It's gonna be a fun memory to carry forever.
That's
great.
hilarious.
That's great.
So what is like if somebody's like wanting to start out, like where do you tell them, okay, this is where you should start?
Yeah. In terms of like getting started with me or just in general.
In general and then with you.
Yeah. So the first step is you have to raise the awareness of the way you're eating in terms of if you're not honest about the things you're putting in your mouth, you're probably not ready to start. And so for my clients or for just anybody who wants to just kind of get an idea of what it is that they're doing, do a food journal.
The first time I gave him one, I have not told you this. I totally lied on that
Yeah,
bitch.
everybody does. Everybody does.
I totally lied.
Dude, I'll get some food journals where they're like, so 6 a.m. it was chicken and rice. 8 a.m. was chicken and rice. 11 a.m. was chicken and rice. And I'm like, oh my God, bro. Why are we even doing this? And so that's what I tell people though. I'm like, if you really are ready to get started, you need to be brutally honest.
The second one I was.
Yeah.
And look at me now.
Yeah.
That's
right,
funny.
Right. And it's that switch flipped. And
It
you're
was
like,
my
okay.
why. Like I was
Yeah.
ready to go. My why.
Yeah, and so the thing is like it's annoying as hell, and that's the whole point. Is
Yeah.
it's supposed to be annoying, but everything that enters your mouth, it's not water. You write it down. So if you grab 2 Oreos, just grab 2 Oreos. If you grab a handful of chips, so just you grabbed a handful of chips.
Yeah.
After 7 days, you can go back and you can look at every day and you can see like, yeah, for breakfast I had a protein shake. For lunch I had a meal prep, and then for some reason at 2:00 every single day I grabbed a handful of hot Cheetos. That's probably where my problem is.
Yep.
It can help you raise like that conscious level of awareness in terms of how you're eating and what's really sabotaging what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that's all it really is they don't realize these tiny little
doing
decisions
it.
they're making. Like the favorite thing I hear from people is, well, I just don't eat that much food, but I keep gaining weight. And I'm like, yeah, so what are you eating? And they're like, well, I'll have a couple of bags of Lay's chips. And I'm like, well, there's 600 calories right there.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, what do you mean? I'm like, have you looked at how many calories are in chips? Like, I love chips. I get it. But like not the Sam size hot Cheetos bag, but the other size down that's the big bag.
Yeah.
That thing is 1,800 calories by itself. I can eat that in one sitting and be hungry 2 hours later.
Yeah.
And so it's like decisions like that where you have to be able to get that awareness of what you're doing. Because a lot of the time you're just in autopilot. You're walking by the pantry or, I dad tax the shit out of my kids' food. So, dad tax the shit out of it. That's my favorite. So like every time I make him something, I take a bite or a piece of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do that, but they take it to extremes.
Yeah.
And if you don't realize you're doing that, you're going to spend your entire life being like, well, I eat really well. Why am I not losing weight? It's like you have all these pitfalls throughout your diet you're not picking up on. And so that's the first step for everybody is just do a food journal just to see what it is. And then if you want to keep doing it, I have some clients too that want to keep doing the food journal because it helps them stay more accountable. But if you really do that, you can get really honest with yourself. You can see what issues you're having and where, and then you have more of an awareness to try to fix those. And that alone can make a really big improvement for a lot of people.
I think it can just open your eyes. You're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
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 Like people don't realize, especially like these hyper and ultra processed foods, how many calories are in these damn things.
Yeah.
Like it's dangerous, dude. It is no surprise that like the average American consumes like 4,000 calories a day. Like everything we eat
insane.
is jam packed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And so I would just start there.
Yeah.
And then once you get that figured out, like you really could just build off of that in terms of like even replacing those snacks with some kind of like higher protein snack that's just a little less calories, a little more protein. Like you remember the 1 gram of protein to every 10 calories?
Yeah, that's what I tell people all the
Yeah.
time. It is not considered high protein. It can say high protein on it, but it is not considered high protein unless it's 1 gram of protein for every 10 calories.
I saw your video the other
Yeah.
day that said that, and I looked at something, and I was like, "Oh, I'm good." It was the Built Bar.
The Built Bar,
those
yeah.
are great.
Bar, and I
Those
was
are
like,
great.
I'm good.
Yeah, Sam loves those.
They're so
I
good.
hate those
You
things.
don't like
Really?
I
the
don't like marshmallow
marshmallow-y?
texture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Some people don't.
That when I made that video, I was looking at, there was a protein bar. If you look at some of the protein bars that are like on Walmart shelves, they used to say protein bars and now they say energy bars. So I'm like, people started kind of catching on.
Catching
like,
on to it.
okay, there's a lot of carbs, there's a little bit of protein, a lot of calories, not really a protein bar, more of
Yeah.
an energy bar. And so when you look at some of them, like there's a protein bar that's 360 calorie protein bar. That's 360 calories and 9 grams of protein.
Like, that's not a protein bar.
No, that's not that's a candy bar.
Yeah.
With a little bit of protein.
Yeah.
My Hershey's bar has that amount of protein, bro. Like,
Yeah.
What? Like you can't just have a gram of protein and just slap a label on it.
Yeah.
But companies do that.
Okay.
And it's the marketing side of things get really tricky when you don't know what to look for those things too.
Yeah.
You know, like you see a lot of these like eye-catching labels, like they put in really big words like no soy, no GMO, no this, no that, and then your mind goes, well, if they're saying none of that's in there, it must be really good for you.
Must be good.
Doesn't mean shit. Like, it doesn't mean anything at all. But people take it as a sign that it does, and that's been my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
Like I've seen protein chips that are 200 calories and 8 grams of protein, and I'm like, why are you calling yourself a protein chip?
Yeah.
Like you're only saying that because you taste like a damn protein chip. You taste like shit.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make you a protein chip. And that's really frustrating.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed how much stuff is like that.
Oh,
but once you know what to look for, especially with the 1 gram of protein for every 10 calories, it kind of weeds out a lot of that.
It
crap.
does weed out a lot. Like, there was a protein brownie at Costco. I was looking and it says, oh, it's high protein or whatever. I looked at it. I was like, this is not high. I was first off, I was pissed because I was craving something sweet. And then I saw it was high protein.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. And then I looked at the back of it. I was like, damn it.
Like, this is what I was living for. Like, what is this?
Dang it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the worst, dude. Like, I've seen that with protein donuts that I've gotten excited about, like protein Pop-Tarts I've gotten excited about. And as soon as I look at the macros, I'm just like,
Yeah.
why did I even let myself get excited about this?
Yeah.
Like, I knew how this was going to end.
Yeah.
But it's a really common thing.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't know what to look for.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people just don't know what
Yeah.
to look for.
And that's the thing is
Yeah.
it's just a lack of knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know,
for
it's not
sure.
a bad thing.
I
And
mean, I'm
it's not
me,
yeah,
for sure. I
yeah.
don't
And if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't.
I think, you know, what we were talking about earlier, kind of like in this era of misinformation, especially around nutrition and stuff too, this is where you see people that are victims of misinformation in the food industry turn into villains in the food industry.
Yeah.
So you have the victims and the villains, and a lot of times the villains are the ones that know what they're saying is wrong, but they're doing it anyway to get clicks and views.
Yeah.
The victims are the ones that turn from victims to villains because they take this as fact, and then they start spreading that to everybody too, and then
Yeah.
they become a larger part of a very big problem.
Yeah.
And so I try to have grace with these people because you are a victim, but you're also spreading this stuff and like you're making yourself the villain.
Yeah.
Like you're unintentionally hurting people, confusing people, feeding into this anxiety that people have. And it's really, really sad when like that's my biggest thing with social media that is the hardest thing for me to fight, like arguing with people or getting into these conversations because I'm like, it's not you that is pissing me off and
It's
upsetting
the
me.
whole-
It's the misinformation
Yeah.
that you bought into because you didn't know better.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not your fault.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to recognize for a lot of these people, it's not their fault they bit into the information. They just didn't know any better.
They didn't
And
know.
people are scared and they're trying to make better choices.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just get taken down the wrong rabbit hole and
Yep.
it just becomes a whole other problem.
Yep. So with that, obviously, if somebody does want to pick your brain, get your knowledge, be a part of you and changing their lifestyle, how do they get in contact with you?
So you can go to my TikTok, which is
well put it in the
we'll
link
put
below.
we'll put the TikTok in the link below. I've always wanted to do that. I'm so famous now. They can go to our anchored Instagram, which we can put that in there
Yeah.
too, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, are you able to put Facebook links in there?
We can.
Yeah.
Okay, I have my personal Facebook
Yep,
too.
okay,
I
do
have
that.
it set to open. So they can contact me through any of those.
Okay.
And then I'll just give them my phone number so we can schedule. I do a free 15-minute consult so we can just sit down for 15 minutes, kind of lay out the framework of how it all works. If they want to do it, we can do it. If they don't, they don't have to.
Perfect.
But just to kind of give them a guideline of what we can do to help them.
And what does your pricing look like?
So $125 a month. And so with the $125, it's a weekly check-in. So you have my phone number. You have constant access to me almost all day. Almost.
Don't text him
He
at
does
2
have a
a.m.
life.
I have a wife and a child, okay? They need me. So they'll have access to me if they need help, need to call, whatever. They can do that at any time. And then I do video calls with them. I prefer video calls because that face-to-face connection is a lot more powerful.
sure.
Or if they just want to do a phone call, we can do phone calls, but we check in every week too. So we have the daily accountability, we have the weekly check-in. And then if they want me to be the one to kind of construct their meals and the entirety of their diet, that one's $200 a month. And then we just work together to reshape the entirety of their diet to the way they like it, just more protein, less calories.
Gotcha.
So it's more of a month to month, not a,
Yeah.
okay, you're here for a month. Nope, you're actually in for 6 months. And we take, month to
Yeah,
month.
because a lot of them now, it's like, $1,000 for 8 weeks.
Oh, wow.
That's
and you
crazy.
meet with them like once a month. They give you
That's
the whole
crazy.
month's plan, and then that's it. You just wait and meet them.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I came up with the whole like subscription idea too. Is like you can cancel it at any time if you feel like it's not working.
Yeah.
Just quit. Like you don't. I'm not going to hold that against you. If I'm not a right fit for you, whatever.
But
you
it's
can just
also like
cancel,
you
be done.
said, like you're to the point where you hope they don't have to use you at all times.
Right.
Like they
Yeah.
can get to
Right.
the point where, hey, Zach, like I've got this. I'm good. If I need you, I'll let you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've had people do that.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people where they did it for a couple of months, did really well, and they're like, hey, I don't really need you anymore. So like, deuces.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'm proud of you. That's awesome. If you ever need me, I'm always here.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, like one of them in particular came back. She was like, I just need the accountability.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm doing what you're telling me to do. I just need someone to report it to so that I feel better about it.
Yeah.
And so like, that's especially where my pricing works out a lot better because I'm not trying to rob you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to make a living, obviously, but I'm not trying to rob you of something
Yeah.
that shouldn't be gatekept the way it is. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where the whole idea from like doing a subscription based thing. I don't think I've ever heard of a subscription based nutritionist. So I feel like I'm the new guy.
There you go.
I'm the one treading the path.
That's
Or
right.
What is it? Making the path. or
Making the
something?
path. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to close us out, give us one piece of advice overall.
Oh, this is a good one. I get to have fun with this one.
Uh-oh.
An overall piece of good advice. I think the best advice that I could give you is to give yourself grace. Like, understand that you don't know all the answers. You're probably never going to know all the answers. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be able to go through this whole thing without taking a step back or without stepping in a pothole. Like, you're going to mess up, and that is okay. Give yourself some grace. Understand the fact that you are a human, and the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is just to get better. And if people can just stay on that track, just focus on getting better and not being perfect. The goal is not perfection, it's progress. That is it. And they'll make huge leaps in every area of life.
Love
That's
it.
a good one.
That's awesome.
you.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Well, we appreciate you all watching. We hope that you absolutely loved this episode. If you have any questions for Zach, put them in the comments below. We will definitely get those to him. We will also leave all of his social media stuff at the end of this video. But Zach, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank
Thank you guys for having me on.
Of course. And I hope you all have a fabulous day. And always remember, be kind.